to I am going to invite Mike Ferner to introduce a little bit of how this fast got started, but I'm going to start with the latest count of fasters. We are up to 697 fasters across the world, and I bet we could get 25 more people signed up by you sharing this with a friend. So we're going to pop the link to sign up for the fast in the chat, and dare I say we get to 1,000 at the end of this. I think we could do it. But right now we're at 697. I'm wondering if Mike is available to intro us.
Yep.
Mike is here. Okay, so
Yes.
Mike and
Yes.
I are new movement buds. We only know each other because of this fast. Now we call each other, we're old friends. And that's what happens in the movement, right? Is you have a shared principle and then it connects you with other people who have those principles. So I'm glad to now be friends with Mike. I want to ask him to introduce us to how did this fast come to fruition? Why the heck are we doing this? How are you doing, Mike?
Well, why the heck are we doing this is pretty clear, I'm sure, to everybody.
Mhm.
I also want to mention that Phil Tottenham, who I believe is on the call, who was instrumental in getting this kicked off, may have a couple of words about how it got going. But suffice to say, briefly, Phil and I both live in Toledo. I never met Phil before, maybe a month ago, not even that. We were both on a street rally support picket thing for Palestine with a lot of the people in Toledo for the Palestinian community. And I introduced myself to him, found out he was a former Marine, and in the process of trying to sign him up for Veterans for Peace, got to talking with him about how both of us were just torn apart by what's going on in Gaza. And I've been active in the movement against war since I was in the Navy in 1972. And every time this government manages to do it again, I can't believe it. It's like, is there no humanity in these people? But at any rate, so we thought, well, what could we do? And we came up with the idea of maybe doing a fast and trying to involve people from Veterans for Peace from around the country. So we put the call out, and just a few people responded, but enough to get it kicked off. And then somehow, Friends of Sabeel, North America, jumped in early on, and Addie and FOSNA have been just crucial to this thing and getting the web page and all that stuff. So that's kind of how it started. And we wanted to, Phil and I talked about including the um, dispersed or the whatever fasters anywhere that people can join, which we obviously has turned out to be very important.
Mhm.
So we weren't just going to have a handful of people here in New York. And I've been hearing from dozens and dozens and dozens of people that how thankful they are that they have an opportunity to do something more than they've been doing because what's going on there is driving them crazy, and they wanted to find something more significant that they can do, and this is giving them opportunity. So I view it as an opportunity, and hopefully a lot more people will take advantage of it.
Um, I'm going to ground us a little bit in what we're doing on this call. So we're going to hear from a little bit more from you, Mike. I have like one more question. And then later we'll hear from some of what we're calling the central fasters in New York, who are mostly veterans committed to 250 calories. So I want to hear from you about that in a second, Mike. And then this got bigger than we knew it would get. And so one thing we didn't ask for is regional information. So if folks can share what region they're in, the state or the somewhere close by, that we can then later put you into breakout rooms with folks from your region, because we understand that the grassroots part of this is vital to this being a successful action. Um, and we'll have like a somatic exercise. We also have a doctor who's calling in from Gaza who's going to give us a report from the ground, because there's a reason why we're doing this. It's to be accountable to Palestinians on the ground. And we'll then end the call with some options for escalating, because our idea is early in the calls, a very faithful and intelligent veteran said, "Why only 40 days?" Why not do this until Palestine is free? And our logic behind that is that we have a due date for our demands to be met. The demands are UN-led aid into Gaza and an arms embargo. And if those demands aren't met, then we will escalate. And we want you to do that in a grassroots way, but we also want to provide some structured options. So there will be something in New York and also something in DC, and we'll tell you more information about that at the end of the call, just so that you all know uh, what this call is going to look like. Mike, I'm interested before we stop spotlighting you in why 250 calories and what that feeling feels like in your body.
Okay. Not much. To answer your second question, we came up with that number because I don't know, 2 or 3 months ago, a couple of us were just happened to note in all of the information that's coming out about Gaza that some agency estimated that that was about what the average person in Gaza was getting. Now, God knows what they're getting now, probably not even that much. And we wanted to, I mean, you can do a fast any number of ways. I did one years ago during the Iraq War that was 35 days only on water, but that's not very attractive to a lot of people. So we picked this 40 days, which has significance to a lot of people. And said, well, let's go with what the Gazans are at least estimated to have. But every time we say that, we say, however, we have clean water to drink that's not killing us. We have a safe place to go to bed at night, not worry about being bombed. So what we're doing is uncomfortable. It's a bit of an inconvenience, but it's not obviously nothing compared to what the people in Gaza are going through. But we're hoping that this is significant enough to people and to the news media that this may be one more thing that will add to the momentum, which is clearly building to have a ceasefire and get the aid to the Gazans that they need, not run by a bunch of mercenaries in the United States and Israel. So anyway, we're hoping we know this by itself isn't going to do it, but we're just doing the best we can, the most we can.
Mhm. Okay, Mike, I'm going to invite some more vets into the space. I'm thinking that Philip's here, if he could be spotlighted. Wondering if Joy and Ken are also here. If you are, please unmute yourself.
Addie, can
Um,
I add just briefly? Um,
please.
uh, I've been getting some emails from people because I sent one out saying, well, where are you at and what kind of fast are you doing? And we have heard from a small group of people in Hong Kong. We've heard from another group in Saskatchewan, two different groups in Ireland, someone in Germany, and I'm not sure where all is, but it's catching on.
Yeah. Um, if you're a New York vet, could you just raise your Zoom hand so we can call on you, or we can spotlight you? Um,
I
Philip,
just
Mike.
want to
Oh,
name that Ray Levitt is my account, but I believe that's Russell, who is one of the vets in NYC right now using my other Zoom. So you could
also,
spotlight Ray Levitt.
okay. Also, Ray, can we spotlight you? You're my new friend too.
Hi, sure.
Are you able to join also? Okay, cool. So Ray Levitt, and I wrote some other notes in our
Hey
doc
Ray,
for people
Cynthia
to.
here. Hi. Hi. Good to see you.
Um, okay, friends, here's the deal. Now we want to hear from some folks who've been fasting in New York. Um, and Philip, I know you were in there on the ground. Ray, I know you're a person who joined after we started this movement. So what a great kind of bookend that we have with the two of you. Would you be able to give us a report on what is going on in New York? Why is it important for us to be in New York? And also, Philip, if you and Mike, if you could tell us a little bit about the action you did yesterday in the train station.
Uh, yeah, so thank you, Addie, and thank you for being the backbone of this. And yeah, so it's important for us to be here in New York to have a centralized part of this fast because we have eyes on us from all the ambassadors to the UN, as we're at the U.S. mission every day from 9:30 to 3 with signs and with the number of days that we're hunger striking. And I just want to take a moment to say thank you all to have joined because you have made this vision of a fast of just joining in unison of one voice of crying out of empathizing with the Palestinians, with the Gazans, in solidarity with them to show them that we care and to try and get our demands met, which again is why we're in New York and where we are at the U.S. mission to the UN. We're also running around with Code Pink and delivering letters and having meetings with some of the countries of the missions to the UN. For example, Denmark and Colombia, I believe, and Bolivia and Guyana. And so, yeah, it's important for us to have this central part, but it's also as important to have the dispersed factors, which was the original kind of vision, is to have both aspects so that we could all because I knew that we weren't alone in thinking that there's something more that we can do. We can't just sit by and go to marches and just hold signs anymore. Like, what's the next thing that we can do? And so here we are, we're doing that next thing, and it's beautiful with all of you. And just go, if you haven't checked out the comments on social media of our videos and stuff. They're pretty heartwarming. So, hey, Russell. Anyway, yeah, so it's beautiful to see all your faces and you're integral to this. And please send us your videos and your pictures and tell us why you're doing this so we can amplify your voices too, because it's not just our voices, but we are here on the ground. And if there's something that we can do to communicate better with you all or to support, please reach out and let us know. And from there, I will turn it back over to whomever Mike made my.
I'm gonna highlight in the chat real quick. I just put in how you can join the Central Fasters in New York because that's another big question we've had. How do you go for a day or two to join them? So they're there every day at the U.S. mission to the UN, rain or shine, until June 30th. They go from 9:30 to 3. And bring your signs, bring your commitment to a free Palestine. And I think Russell is there right now.
Hang on just a second, if I could, Russell.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt, but I've seen in the chat several people talking about questions about different kinds of fasts, and it's really important to note, and we've said this a number of times, that you can join this from wherever you are. You don't have to do the whole 40 days. You don't have to do 250 calories. You can do a Ramadan fast. You can find 4 people who can fast 10 days each, or 10 that can do 4 days each, whatever. You know, if you're involved in this and purposely fasting in some fashion, please let us know, and you can be included in this. Thank you.
And the way to let us know is to sign up on the sign up sheet that's going to be put in here, because we want to count you in our numbers, and we also want to give you resources. So I'm just putting a resource in the chat right now, which is a template to start a chain of fasters. This has been a great way for folks to self-organize. So the way to get the information is to sign up for the fast. And if Layla, if you could put that in the chat right now, that'd be great. Russell and Ray, you're there right now. Maybe we could hear from you first.
Hey, thanks so much. And hi everyone. It's really good to be here with you. My name is Ray, and can everyone hear me okay? Okay, awesome. Just for like a little bit of grounding context, I'm a Jewish person. I'm a citizen of the so-called United States. I'm a student, and I'm a transgender person, and I'm here as an ally to veterans for peace and, in grief and rage and deep longing for a free Palestine. I came, as soon as I heard this fast was happening, there was just this huge yes inside of my heart of feeling the deep urgency for an escalation from the organizing that I had been doing, and feeling a lot of gratitude for all the people who just called this together in a moment of such dire need. And I think what I would speak to about my experience of being in front of the headquarters of the US Embassy of the UN is there's this feeling of indirect work. We stand there for hours having every range of experiences of people walking by, from people who are outraged by our presence to people who are deeply grateful for our presence.
Mhm.
And there is something that feels so unknown about what it is to simply stand and fast and be in that deep commitment and just hold that prayer, that that visibility of us standing up and saying, we say no to genocide, we say ceasefire now, we say let the aid flow to Gaza, we say full humanitarian aid, and we say stop this pointless and devastating war. Just the act of doing that on a daily basis, we cannot track the impact. And so to any person who's feeling like, um, what what power do I have? I think that the thing that I want to share about my experience is this kind of dance of feeling both so powerless in the face of so much devastation, and also through just the act of being in this community and building this together, and
Mm.
the act of standing in front of that headquarters and saying, we say no to this. Um, Even if we can't directly track immediately how that's happening, I'm just really holding that prayer that it
Mm.
is rippling out in all kinds of ways that are flowing in love. So I think that's what I want to say about what my experience has been like. And then I have just one more thing to share, which is that for anyone who is wanting some support, I'm offering a peer support space. So I'll put my email in the chat, and my email is also sort of out in the kind of weekly um, update that you've received from Addie. And so if you want a space to just be with a fellow faster, talking about your emotions or experiences during the fast, I'm totally available to just be present with you in that. And then also, if you're thinking about any sort of safety planning or decision making around your fasting, I'm really available for that too. Like holding that question of how you as an individual can most deeply use your skills and capacities towards this movement, and how fasting fits in within that. So um, I'm just going to put my email in the chat right now, and then turn it over to Russell. And thank you all so much.
Russell, while you're unmuting, I just want to say that none of us knew each other beforehand, and we are starting this little family of collaboration and of movement work. And I think what Ray is offering is a great example of that, is that movement work and liberation work connects us, and that we do keep us safe. And so it could feel weird to be like, I don't know that person. How do I reach out to have a little call? But that's how this whole fast started, is people who didn't know each other reached out to each other and started a big thing. So never forget that movement work is liberating, not just to other people, but to ourselves. Russell, I'd love to hear from you.
Yeah,
Oh,
hi.
Ray, you need to leave.
What?
Sorry.
Oh no,
I'm okay.
can I say like one tiny more thing, which is just like one of the things about that I just want to name, is it can feel really complex to think about yourself in a time where we're really wanting to put a lot of focus and attention and all of our hearts and all of our energies towards Gaza. And I also want to frame, like, as deeply as I want every single person in Gaza to be cared for, I also want us to build a movement where we are building that together. And so centering that collective care. And so this peer support is kind of like held in that spirit.
Russell, tell us where you are.
Well, I'm down here by the UN in New York City, and we're on day 14 of our fast. And before I say anything else, I want to mention that they just had a vote, if anybody knows about that, and all 14 members of the Security Council um, opposed it, and the U.S. Vetoed it. So that it was a thing for ceasefire and open up the humanity, the human food supply, et cetera, et cetera. So anyhow, the U.S. vetoed it. They didn't want it to get to that point because they didn't want to have to veto sending food to. But anyhow, that just happened, and so everybody here was all when the people came out, they were chanting shame, shame, shame. So anyhow, I just thought I'd mention that so you know that it happened. And I the reason why I'm doing this is I've been struggling for months trying to deal with what's going on in Gaza, and and for me, I relate it back to Vietnam and the things that we did in Vietnam. I couldn't help it, only here they're actually trying to exterminate the people, So and I never know what's the best thing that we can do. Everybody's doing all different kinds of things. And when I heard about this, I decided to do it. And the interesting thing, it's just a small side thing, but for me, I never can sleep a whole night. I have to just struggle all night long to stay awake. And since I've been here, every day with no exaggeration, I sleep really well. So because I feel like I'm doing this may not do anything, this may not be successful, but it's the best thing I can think of doing, and I'm doing it. So yeah, I just can't believe that the U.S. is doing the stuff they do. I mean, I can believe it, but it horrifies me.
There's a great abolitionist, Miriam Kaba, who says this phrase stumbling towards repair. And I think that's what we're trying to do, right? We're not going to do this perfectly. We're going to stumble, fumble, but we're going to do as much as we can and more. And I think saying shame to those people is probably a really effective or meaningful thing and appropriate.
Yeah.
I'm going to invite Dr. Masalam to join now. I wonder if you can turn on your video, Dr. Masalam. We're trying to find you in the chat. So just give a
Hello?
Yes, hello, welcome.
Can you hear me? Can you see me?
We can. The vets are welcome to stay on, actually, highlighted, just because I'd love for you to be here. I don't know if you can pin everybody at the same time. Folks. But I'm gonna
Could you
mute
ask people
also.
to mute, please? Thank you.
So we're just getting people pinned on here. Dr. Masalam should be pinned. Okay. Did that work? I'm looking for my Zoom people and trying to read what you're saying.
Yep, everybody's pinned.
Okay, it doesn't show up for me. So sorry. I don't know why this is happening to me. Okay, friends. Dr. Masalam, we're so glad that you're here. I hope that you can see some faces of people who are trying with our bodies to change the situation. And also, it's totally not enough. I'd love to hear what you have to tell us. Thank you for being here.
Hello, everybody. Hello, Eddie. Thank you so much for inviting me to this community event. I'm using my phone as the light source, so perhaps you cannot see me. You just see a dark picture of myself. So my name is Musallam Abu Khalil. I'm joining you tonight from inside Gaza. I am a medical doctor. I work in the internal medicine department at Nasser Medical Complex in Khan Yunis. Together with my American friend, who is also joining in this community event, Alicia, we together have founded the Dignity for Palestinians campaign, which is and still sponsored by Nonviolence International, which we joined last week and talked a little bit about our work and the grand news from Gaza. To give you a brief idea of what's happening right now this week from Gaza, things are not turning to the better. Even though on the news you can see that there is a new aid distribution mechanism that has been in effect since 2 weeks ago in Rafah and also in central Gaza. All you need to know about this new process, it's chaotic, it's inefficient, It has not reached anyone with in an organized manner. All you can see is just random distribution. The elderly, women, and people who might have mobility restrictions or unable to move there have not been there. And this is also, they are also bypassing established network of support and distribution mechanism, which has proven to be effective through UNRWA and other NGOs in Gaza. So those organizations with the proven track record have been sidelined in this new, what they call innovative aid distribution, which I can say with complete confidence is making people more hungry. It's not going to be, it's destined to be failed, and you will see more news about how disastrous this is going to be for us. I would like also to thank every one of you who might be fasting, who might be joining in solidarity. Perhaps the most prominent news that you can get from Gaza is the food insecurity. Every single family in Gaza, rich, poor, before the war, is now food insecure. We have run out, all of us are almost run out of supplies, including wheat and simple essential food items like lentils, rice, and this is not going any better for the families in Gaza. So I am very happy just to see virtually and also practically that people are joining in large numbers virtually and also in a protest to voice their solidarity for Palestine and Gaza. I think I don't want to take much of your time. I know this event is for vets, and they are the ones who will be speaking about their experiences. But my final message would be is that the people of Gaza still need your support as international citizens, be that by continuously talking about the situation, raising awareness, contributing to just causes or missions in Gaza, and also to keep going, even though the political actors are not doing what they can to stop this madness. For this, I thank you, Adi and Michael and everyone, and I will stop here. If there are any questions you would like to ask me about Gaza, feel free to reach to ask me now, or I will be dropping my email address for any one of you who would like to connect, and I'm happy to connect with any one of you for a quick chat. Thank you, Adi.
Thank you. I wondered if the vets have anything to say in response. That's why we kept you spotlighted. And also want to say I saw Kathy Kelly come in with you, Russell. There are many more people behind you, Dr. Masalam, and this isn't an abstract thing. Like, we hear everything that you're saying, from the fact that you don't have light to be on this call with us. So it's an incredible gift that you're here. I wonder if the vets have anything else you want to say.
And I would like to say something, Doctor. I can't thank you enough for being here and for what you do every day, and the other heroes who are doing whatever they can to aid the suffering in Gaza. When I worked as a hospital corpsman in a Navy hospital, took care of guys coming back from Vietnam, they had already been stabilized and were in good shape, and we had plenty of supplies. And for the life of me, I cannot understand. I can't believe how you're continuing to do what you're doing in Gaza. You are an example and a shining light to the world of the best of humanity. And I wish to hell we could do more to end the suffering there, but please know that we are trying.
Thank you very much for your
Could I
kind
ask a
work, Mike.
question? Could I ask?
Oop, shoot. Philip, did you want to say anything else, or Russell? I think we're going to move into an exercise after this, and hopefully, Dr. Musalam, you can join us in the exercise. Philip or Russell, did you want to add anything?
No, I just want to say thank you, Doctor, for being here and for your heroism. It's inspiring, and we're trying, and we're gonna step up our level of escalation and do what we can do within our power, with everything within our power, because we love you. You are our brothers and sisters and siblings, and our hearts are with you. Our hearts are broken with you, and yeah, just thank you and shukran, shukran.
Thank you, Philip. Just I want to ask to answer the question on the chat asking are Palestinian doctors getting into Gaza? So there are, in truth, there are medical missions who have been allowed occasionally to enter Gaza to handle surgical care for one of the in some of the hospitals in Gaza, most especially in our hospital Nasser Medical Complex. I have seen doctors from the US, from Ireland, from the UK, under the umbrella of international organizations being let into our hospital system. But unfortunately, none of them or most of them are not Arabs. And Israel has this policy of not allowing doctors of Palestinian origin who might have strong public advocacy of Palestine to be let into Gaza. So this is just in brief the answer to your question, Bulare. Thank you, Philip, for your kind words. Thank you.
We're with you, and we're going to move into a somatics exercise now. If we could have Beth spotlighted and the veterans can be unspotlighted. Also, thank you, Dr. Musalam. We're hoping we can do this maybe as an offering to you to know that we are with you. And so Beth is going to lead us in a somatics exercise. If you haven't heard of somatics before, it's being in tune with your body, which is a really difficult thing to do. But we offer this as a way to almost pray with you to say, let's recognize that we're all bodies and that all of us matter and that all of us have dignity. And sometimes that's sitting together and breathing. Thank you, Dr. Musalam. Beth, it's over to you. I'm going to just give you a little bio of Beth in the chat. And I think, Beth, if you could just take it away and people will read in the chat.
Happy to do that. And it's an honor and a privilege to be with you, to be in solidarity, and to be gathering together. As we hear the news that we've all been taking in, and then just to have what was not an unexpected gut punch, to hear what the US has done and is doing with their vote and continues to do in the complicity and the aid of this ongoing genocide. We do this because bodies count. And I have a quote here near my desk that says, "Your greatest strength is radical love." And ultimately, it is love that calls us to this work. Love for Gaza, love for the people of Palestine, love for justice. We do this because bodies count. The bodies of the people in Gaza, in Palestine. We use our bodies in order to care for their bodies, even as we know that as we hear one thing after another, it takes my breath away. And I'm sure it takes your breath away. Sometimes I find myself holding my breath and experiencing what I feel in my body. So I'm just going to invite us for a moment into our bodies and to acknowledge that for some, being in the body is not necessarily a safe thing. So just be where you are. Just if it's comfortable for you, feel your body on the chair or the couch, wherever it is, your feet on the floor, if it's possible. And I am going to invite you, if it's comfortable for you, to take a deep breath. Remembering that as I've said, we've been holding our breath, we've been shallow breathing. I can only imagine how the breath is taken from the bodies and the people of Gaza. So as we breathe in, feel in your body where you feel your love and your care for Gaza. Invite you to breathe even more deeply, if that is possible for you, into what you consider your center. And just be with that. Feel as you breathe where you may be holding tension or worry or care in your body. Perhaps it's your shoulders, and you might like to touch them and pat them. Perhaps it's in your chest, and you might want to put your hands on your chest and feel your breath. As you feel your hands on your chest, feel it as your connection with the people of Gaza, with your own humanity, with your own dignity, and sharing that. Invite you to if you feel it in your solar plexus or in your belly, wherever your body is holding this horror, invite you to feel that in your body and touch that place. Invite you to then take a breath into wherever in your body you felt what you're holding, breathing it in and release. You're simply releasing so that you can be fully present, so that you can feel yourself connected each to each and all. Breathing in, and if it's comfortable for you or you feel like you need to move your body, you can turn off your camera or just simply allow yourself to stretch. Our bodies, as we're fasting, and for those who are not, tell us what's important to us and reveal to us where we're feeling, because feeling comes before thought. As we breathing in, we're reminded that we're breathing in oxygen molecules that have been at one time or another in the lungs of every breathing being, connecting us to the past, to creation. Breathing in and out in this moment, beloved, we are connected to one another here and to our beloveds in Gaza, in Palestine. Breathing in and out, reminding of us our deep interdependence. Invite you to breathe in, and then on the exhale, remember that the breath makes us ancestors for those who will come. So as we journey together in our deep longing for care for the people of Gaza, for an end to this genocide, to this devastation, we breathe and we are alive. As we breathe, we remember those whose breath has been stolen from them. And with each breath, we breathe in the love, the radical love that motivates us in this moment. We don't need to see our beloveds to love them. We love them because they are. As you move through these days, friends, invite you to be gentle with yourself and your bodies, to stay connected to the breath, to one another. As we move into this next phase of our time together, I invite you to simply be aware of what's happening in your body and just breathe into it and know that you are loved and you are love. And we are with you, Gaza. Doctor, we are with you. Gaza, we are with you. I love you.
Thank you, friends. We're doing a little bit of adjusting in the moment, as is how you do all organizing. Our priority is to protect people in Palestine, so that's what we're going to be doing on this call. And so we've been checking in with what people's capacity is. So we're going to adjust a little bit. In the meantime, I'm going to ask two folks to come up. We have someone from the Maine Coalition, and we have someone from the Akron chapter. Wondering if we can spotlight both of them. Maine Coalition, could you raise your hand? And the other person is Reverend Joyce. And we have been asking about capacity of our friend. If you do have questions for Dr. Masalam, you can put them in the chat, and we're gonna get to those after this. But we do want to prioritize the fact that it's in the middle of the night in Palestine and that rest is much more important than talking to a bunch of Americans on a Zoom call. So Joyce and the person from the Maine Coalition, could you raise your Zoom hand?
Zoom hand, where is that?
Okay, Joe Pearl. So I'm going to invite Joe and Joyce to share a little bit about, I'm going to ask can someone spotlight Joe?
I can't find it.
Not you, Joyce. One of our
I put
Zoom
my
wizards,
hand.
if you could spotlight Joe. And so Joe is coming from the Maine Coalition, who's been doing amazing work as a dispersed faster. Thank you, Joe. Good to meet you. Joyce has been doing work in Akron, and so we invited two dispersed fasters to share a little bit about their work. I'm wondering, Joe, if you could start us off and tell us how did you form and what work have you been doing?
Hi, just checking if you can hear me.
We can.
Great. I live in very rural Maine and have pretty poor internet here. So if I need to go off video, I can do that. We have 38 approximately fasters here in Maine who formed, some in response to the Veterans for Peace call just on their own, and some through the Maine Coalition for Palestine, which does a lot of advocacy work and organizing. And we have people doing 250 calories a day. We have people doing the Ramadan fasting. We have people doing chain fasting. And we have a really great robust support group here. We, have a chat going where everyone's checking in on each other and organizing actions around getting our representatives to move on this. We have been organizing daily vigils at one of our senators' residences and offices, and keeping the pressure on. And we were able to actually confront him in person and get a promise that he'll be advancing something. So we're just trying to keep pressure on and raise awareness. And yeah, it's great to be in community with everybody, and thank you.
And sorry, what's the expanse of 250 calories, more than 1 to 40 days? How are y'all managing the flexibility of that? I know you had some good resources around like offering more than one thing to do.
Sorry, it cut out for a second. If that was for me, could you repeat that question?
Yeah, I'm going to invite Joyce also into this. I know that like one of the ways that we've been able to make this action big is to make it easeful for some to join. And so sometimes that's meant not doing 250 calories. Sometimes it's meant joining a chain fast. So maybe I'll throw it to Joyce, and then Joe, if you want to add into some of the ways that we've expanded the action so more people can be a part of it. Joyce.
Yeah, can you hear me? Okay. We are not as organized around this as you are. As Maine is. We've been doing a lot of BDS work because we have Palestinians kind of leading and we have an Akron Palestinian Solidarity Collective that has formed. I wanted to hit the faith community, so that's where I've been. I personally started when I was on retreat, a clergy retreat, and I learned about it and tried to get some people to join me. I started at 250 calories personally, just because I thought, okay, I'll do 5 days and then I'll find somebody by then because I'll be back home. But I just kept going. I'm on my 14th day. I want to just mention that the thing that I did not expect, biological, physical stuff I've been thinking about, it's a spiritual experience. I didn't expect a social piece that I had to negotiate, and I'm still learning to negotiate. I ended up at my in-law, I'm just talk personally. I ended up at my, I have been married only 5 years, the in-laws in this area. And they don't know this side of me very well, even though I'm a pastor. And it was for my daughter-in-law had it, and she was about to go to surgery in 4 days. And I didn't eat anything. They know I eat strange. I'm vegetarian, but I didn't eat anything. It didn't fit. And I just politely passed things, and I wanted to tell her more, but I didn't want it to upset her. This actually became a spiritual topic with my spiritual director the next week. I've learned now how to say things and not scare people away. So, because some people are at 0 level from what I'm finding. So I just say it's a spiritual practice that I do, part of my faith. It helps me to be more sensitive to hunger, especially in Gaza, where there's constant starvation. And that's my choice and my practice. I still find social events. My granddaughter graduated. I had to go to Columbus for 3 days. All of it was parties. And so I just take a little piece of this and that and eat with everybody and try to fit in. So I know it sounds trivial compared to everything's the suffering in Gaza, but it's something that has helped me develop a constant reminder, although I had it before and I don't have to cry, I can focus on this, that in Gaza, they don't have even access to water. This is not simulating Gaza's suffering. This is identifying my reminding every second of this huge, massive suffering going on, and the world seemingly just watching. At least I can help to raise the moral conscience. We've been doing outside witness. That's what we've been doing. It hasn't been going on in Akron at all. We stand at the corner of the federal building where the traffic coming out of work comes by with large Palestinian flags and signs, just a small number of us. Every Tuesday we do this, and at 4 to 5:30. And I'm hoping that after the 30 days, we'll continue doing it and get more people as we have a little more time to organize around this one. Thank you.
Joe, I'm wondering if you have anything else to add about what it looks like in Maine, what you could teach to the rest of our dispersed fasters, and then for Joe and Joyce, do you have any encouragement for us who might feel like we're doing this not at a central location with lots of signs? What encouragement do you have for the group?
Yeah, I will just add that we're trying to make this really accessible to everyone. So all of us who have committed to this fast have written emails to our friends and colleagues, encouraging them fast with us for a day. Donate money to this, to this or this actual aid organization that actually does good work. Just trying to encourage people to meet people where they are, do what you can do. And yeah, it's leading to some really hard conversations, with family members and people who aren't supportive. But having those conversations is a step towards raising everyone's awareness of the situation and what needs to happen. Fundraising has been really, really successful. We've told people we'll consider, eating a little more if they donate, or ending our fast, or something like that, depending on people's family situations. They can kind of put some pressure on family members, and we've raised a lot of money. And then we also we've also reached out to a lot of newspapers and gotten a lot of good coverage. Another article coming out today, and just really reaching out to our networks and our community and asking them to join us for a day, even if it's just a day, and just experience that. Because it's so easy to go numb, to feel overwhelmed by it all and just shut it out. And the purpose is to reconnect with our bodies, and we can never experience what people are experiencing there, but just trying to be a little more connected. And the encouragement I'd give is that there really is this feeling of a sea change right now, a changing of consciousness. We're getting coverage from places that would never cover any Palestinian activism before. We're having conversations we haven't had before, and representatives are saying things they haven't said before. That's my encouragement, and thank you for having me.
I feel that too. Joyce, do you have any encouragement for the group?
Yeah, I just think this is the most wonderful thing and inspirational. The Samud that I encountered when I went on the Solidarity delegation of Seville in November, over and over, and I saw and witnessed among incredibly courageous and brave West Bank leaders, Palestinian leaders, with all of the violence they encounter in daily life. And I can't imagine Gaza. I just want to thank the veterans who were on before. You're my heroes too, for inspirationally starting this and allowing other people a place to enter with their moral compass to be a little bit more on target than we've been finding it a chance to do. Some people are frustrated and they just turn away, like Joe said, because they don't have an option. Well, here's an option. You can shape it how you want it. You can keep going after it. And as one of the veterans say, just continuously talking about it, continuously, just not stopping. This is a long journey, 1 foot at a time. Campesinos taught me in Central America, 1 foot at a time leads to the arc of justice moving. So thank you.
We're so grateful to know you both. You represent almost 650 people across the world who are dispersed faster as a part of this action. So thank you. I am going to give you a little bit of logistics now on what we're doing next. So we're fumbling towards repair. I've already said this. We're not doing things perfectly, of course. It's actually a white supremacist tactic to think that we have to be perfect at everything. And so apologies for the things we haven't done well. One of those things is that we didn't ask for people where they were fasting from. So we're going to try to correct that a little bit right now. Also want to say a little oopsies earlier. You don't know that it's really in the middle of the night in Gaza, and we were well past our time. We had asked Dr. Masalam to present, and so we were trying to protect his time. He has asked to leave and asked you to send his questions to his email. So we put that in the chat in a couple places. I'll make sure to do that, but it's very important to protect his body, and he is available to your questions via email. So we are fumbling together towards doing this right. There's no way that we have no playbook for how to survive a genocide, and we have no playbook for how to show up correctly. What we were trying to do is get him to sleep. And so we hope that you can connect with him via email, especially with a note of encouragement, because that's the priority right now. So what we're going to do now is break up into breakout groups. The way that you do that is self-select into your breakout room. So if the Zoom wizard could make those available. We did our best to create some regions, and what we're going to hope for is that you join a region that aligns somewhere with your organizing. We'll do that for about 20 minutes, and then we're going to end the call talking about escalation options.
Yep.
Okay. I am going to start off with a great suggestion someone just had, which is to remind you that if you just had some amazing organizing in your region, ooh, I wonder if you want to do that on WhatsApp. So we have one of our veterans who's a Central Faster, Joy Metzler, is set up a WhatsApp community for us. And we have a couple folks who are an admin of it, and you can form your own groups there. So if you don't have a regional group, you can form it, or you can send a message to Joy in that community and ask her to form one. So that might be an effective way of taking what you just did in your group and putting it into a central place that will continue to add more people to it as we get more fasting signups. Also want to say that we're sending this recording out to all 700 fasters, and so you might get some more folks who are interested in being in a regional group who weren't able to join your call. So there are many more of you that aren't represented on this call. We are going to end our time here. We're going to put a couple of things in the chat, like how do you follow us on socials? And by us, I mean fasters, all of us, that is primarily being done by VFP. How do you donate to the fast? VFP is collecting funds to support the central fasters. They all went with our own funds to do this action in New York. And so you can support the fast and VFP's infrastructure by donating at that link. That'll be in the chat soon. And in a moment, we're going to hear about one of our options, one of our suggestions for escalation. And so the theory here is that we have demands, that we're demanding them loudly, and if they aren't met at the end of 40 days, we are going to ask you to escalate. That looks really different for different people. You can email me and ask for ideas locally, but we do want to offer two national options, one in New York and one in DC. And our comrade Cole is going to tell us a little bit about the DC action. So anyone is invited to this, and to hear a little bit more about what it is, Cole's going to be spotlit in a moment. Okay, welcome, Cole.
Hey everybody, my name's Cole Park West. I use they, them pronouns, and I'm one of the national organizers with Christians for a Free Palestine, which is also sponsoring this fast. I'm also one of the many dispersed fasters based in Durham, North Carolina. Among other things, I am a military brat. Both my grandpas served in World War II, one as an infantryman, one as an army chaplain. And my dad, after being a conscientious objector during Vietnam, ultimately decided to join the Air Force after the war, determining that there needed to be more peace-minded people in the military. And so I was effectively raised by a pacifist in the military, which is a funny way of coming into organizing and advocacy for peace. But I try to live into that lineage. And so what that looks like for me right now is organizing with Christians for a Free Palestine. For folks who are not familiar, one of our mandates with CFP alongside FOSNA is to challenge Christian Zionism, which is a really dangerous theology. And one of the things that we often say is that Christian Zionism is the foreign policy of Christian nationalism. So you can learn all about it on FOSNA's website if you haven't already. But I have seen throughout my life the ways in which militarism and a false Christianity have married themselves. And so am working alongside so many of you to interrupt that, and to interrupt the really dangerous marriage that has played out between Christianity and empire for more than 2,000 years now. So why DC at the end of all this? Well, I am ultimately an optimist and dream that perhaps tomorrow, perhaps in the next week, we will win these demands. I wake up every morning believing that we are going to win. And realistically, we can anticipate that while aid is beginning to trickle in, it will not be to the scale that is needed. And we can also anticipate that US funding of the war machine via the state of Israel is going to continue. Therefore, we are gathering in Washington, D.C. To coincide with the National Summit for Christians United for Israel, which is the largest Zionist organization in the country. It's the one you've probably never heard of, but they claim approximately 10 million members, which, just for reference, is more people than there are American Jews. And so as Christians looking to live into a liberatory and justice and love-oriented theology, it is our duty, it is our mandate to contend with false prophets. And so when Christians United for Israel gathers in Washington, D.C., both to galvanize their base and to lobby members of Congress, we're going to be there too. And we invite all of you to join us for the Interfaith Action for Palestine. So it's not just Christians for a Free Palestine and Christians for Ceasefire and Mennonite Action and FOSNA, but it is also Jewish Voice for Peace, and If Not Now, and Muslims for Just Futures, and Hindus for Human Rights, all organizations that recognize our shared stake in resisting the violence of religious nationalism and the violence that is ongoing in Gaza, in the West Bank, throughout Palestine. So I invite you to join us there. We will be engaging in a variety of actions. If you look on the interfaithforpalestine.com website, you'll see some glimpses of what we did collectively last year. And we'll be engaging in some similar and some new and different actions, both at National Harbor, where CUFI is gathering, and in the Capitol. One of the things that I've been telling people is that this is more than a protest. This is a way of embodying and living into the world that we dream of, a world where a multiracial, interreligious crew full of wonderfully gender diverse and queer folks, people from all backgrounds and experiences of many different generations, get to come together and both practice being the world that we dream of and modeling not only for CUFI, but for a much broader audience, that we are the ones that we've been waiting for. And we are an essential piece to the global movement for Palestine's liberation. We understand that a free Palestine frees us all, and I, for one, am hungry for that liberation. So I hope to see you all in DC. Please join us.
Thank you, friend. This is Addie again. I am gonna close us by saying I'll be in DC. I'll be there to get into some very great trouble with my friends there. And we invite you to do the same in DC, in New York, or in your local community. The New York location, we're going to speak, the New York escalation, we're going to speak more about that at our next call. So look in your email for our next mass call for information about what it would be like to join the New York escalation, and for more reports from fasters across the country. We keep us safe. Dates and information on that action that Cole was talking about are in the chat. And if our Zoom wizards could put that in there one more time, that would be helpful. Friends, we are not perfect at this work, but we're putting our whole bodies into this. So that means paying attention to what we're eating. It means being kind to our neighbors. It means resisting nationalism at every moment. And so we do that remembering that maybe one day we're going to wake up and we're all free, and we did that together. Okay. We will be in touch. Check your email, join the WhatsApp, and follow our Central Fasters in New York for the amazing things they're doing outside of the UN. It's good to be with you, friends. We're putting some resources in the chat, and then we're going to say goodbye. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Addie. Thank you very much.